Hello, this is story 47. And I don't know what to call it, so I'll just call it It. This actually happened to me this morning. So story 47 was supposed to be about the Skene Manor, which is going to be a lengthy story of sorts that happened about 30 years ago. But I was on my way around about 10, 11 o'clock this morning, driving from my town to Auburn, New York, along the lake, along Rockefeller Road. And Rockefeller was born there a long time ago. Any rate, it's kind of a rural road. It's got houses dotted all along the way. It's about 15-mile strip. Any rate, so I'm driving down this road, and it's generally 55-mile-an-hour traffic when you get traffic there. So it's not really a good idea to play around on your cell phone anywhere you're driving. It's illegal too. But on this road, there's deer and there's hidden, you got to kind of be on top of it because there's hills and curves and you don't know what's going to be around the bend. So I wanted to check, I think it was the weather forecast. So I pulled over to this spot about 2 miles out of the village that I live in. And there weren't any houses around anywhere near. But there used to be an old farm of some sort there. And there's a little spot where you can pull off. And I took pictures of it. I'll be cycling those through while I'm talking. And I made a video also, and I'll plug that in at some point. There really isn't much to this story, but so, all right, back on track. I pulled over on this little spot there, where I could pull over because there's no shoulder to speak of on most of this road, just a ditch, grass and a ditch. So this spot used to be, I think, a driveway of some kind, but all that's left is just, there's a little flat spot by the road, just the right size to pull over in and park. So I'm sitting in there parked in this spot, pulled over, well off the road, doing something on the internet with my phone. I think it was the weather forecast. And I gotta say, I had intuition that said, you're not supposed to be here, but I ignored it. But I did have that feeling, you're not supposed to be here. And, I got a bit of a negative vibe there, honestly. And I really don't get that. That doesn't happen to me very often. But it wasn't enough that made me just, I'm getting out of here. It wasn't that, I just ignored it. It was kind of a light intuition. So I did whatever I did on my phone. And I, pulled out, I looked, because there's traffic, didn't want anybody coming up on me. So, because they move along pretty fast on that road sometimes. So I pulled out of there, and it was maybe 3 seconds after I pulled out of there. This is where the event happens. I look in my rearview mirror, and there's a black man, a human shape of a person about my size, standing in the middle of the road. And it's all black. The whole thing was black. And it looked like it was moving. That's why I made that really corny animation. I'm trying to play with animations on the title. But it looked like I actually thought he was running towards my car. And I'm like, my initial reaction was, it's a jogger, right? But then I thought, it's not a jogger because I'm looking at it. And I stopped, turned around. Sure enough, there's this black thing running. I think it was running towards me in the middle of the road. And I'll show you a picture of the road, the view. I took a picture. And this is it. This is like 30 minutes after I went to Auburn and I came back through and took these pictures and videos. So it's the same lighting. And I want you to look at this picture. And that's the view of the road that I looked back and clearly saw this being in the middle of the road, moving around unnaturally, but I got the impression it was running towards me. But But you could see there's no telephone poles or mailboxes or trees that would make you think something that, you know, I might mistake it for something like a black shadow of a tree or a mailbox, or there's nothing there. And this, I saw this quite clearly. This whatever it was right in the middle of the road where I was parked. And when I pulled out and I looked and I see this thing behind me, and initially I thought it was a jogger, because I don't always just think ghost. But then I thought, well, if that's a jogger, they're dressed up like a ninja, because the whole figure from head, hands, everything was black. And not only that, I would have seen a jogger, because I just came from that direction. And I've never seen anybody jog on that road, but I'm not saying they don't. But it certainly wasn't a jogger, or I would have seen them. And I'm kind of driving off slowly, looking at this thing, and I'm getting the creeps. Hardcore getting the creeps, all right? Off that picture. And I'm looking in the rearview mirror, and now a car's coming down the road, coming the way I came from. So the car's behind me, but the car's moving pretty fast. And I'm kind of driving slow, looking at this thing, and getting just creeps. I don't know. My initial reaction was, what the hell is that? That was my initial reaction. But then I'm looking, and the car was right behind it. And I'm thinking, either the car stopped, and it didn't make any sense, because like if this was the being, and you're me, looking back at us, and the car headlights come, you know, I don't know, whatever. Car's coming, broad daylight. And I looked and seen the car was right on it, and it was still in the middle of the road, moving around. I presume it was running, but I couldn't be sure. It was moving around. And the car, at that point, I had to kind of step on it, because I was coming up around a bend, and I didn't want this car to run into me. So at that point, I focused on the road and took off and pulled over up the road, not too far. The car zoomed by me. I turned around, the three-point turn, came straight back, because I had a feeling this was no jogger, this was a paranormal event. And I drove back to that place where I pulled over, and there was, of course, there was nobody there. And I'll tell you what, I did a little praying. It took a little bit of nerve for me to drive back there, because I know what I saw. And that's pretty much the story. Yeah, I don't know, that's it. There's no sense embellishing on it. I took some pictures of the farm. I don't know what it was. I never noticed the place before. You know, when nature takes over things again, I don't know, you give a place 10, 15, 20 years, and nature will just hide it. They'll cover it with vines and sumac and everything. I never noticed this place. But there was an old silo and an old barn, and there's some tin corrugated shacks out there. And up on the side of the road, there was an old house back up in there across the street. And I took some pictures of that, which I'll show at the end of this video, along with an outtake video where I got out to take a video and almost got hit by a car. Yeah, that's why I said they move along pretty fast on that road. Faster than they should be. Everybody's in such a hurry. I always say, when people are driving real fast and aggressive like they do at times, I said, they must be they have to go to the bathroom. But I say it in ruder words than that. That dude's driving like he's got to take a dump. That doesn't have anything to do with this story. But that's the story, and I had the corny animation on the front, but I couldn't tell you what that was. It was all black, and it was pretty lit up, you know, mid-morning, about 11 or 12 at this point when I came back. But when I went through, it was about 10 or 11. And yeah, that's it. It was black. It was completely black and in the middle of the road. And the last time I saw it, it was still in the middle of the road, moving around, running, I guess, towards me. And that car was right on it. And I don't know what happened. because the car was right on it. That's story 47 for you. Give it what you will. I'll post some pictures of the place and an outtake video. Thank you. Story 48 coming up. Yeah, that's where I was pulled over. Oh, hold on. Car. Yeah, I was pulled over there, going that way. Traffic coming this way. There's the old farm.